Yeah.
Just
where are you going to go?
Just take it in.
You going to split the rent with somebody else? Come on. You want all these bills? Welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. Hey, everybody, my name's Will, and joining me, as always, are my friends and co-hosts, Kat and John. Hey, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. To you, too.
Hey, on today's show, we're going to chat about a number of different 1980 current news stories related to 1980s media. And you'd say, hey, how could that be? Didn't those stop in the 1980s? No, they didn't. Now, they're finally starting to dry up because we're nearing 60 years out or something.
Oh, my back.
Finally.
It was so fun. No, I didn't mean it that way. Yeah. No, we need it to last at least a couple more years.
The only thing drying up is what are they? The thing between your spinal, the little
what? Discs, your discs.
The disc, my discs are drying up. Maybe that's the only thing drying up. The news is still coming though.
So as an example, here's actual stories we're going to talk about today. These things related to our youths. Bigfoot is in Ohio. Will John follow?
He's always been in Ohio. It's just now he's being seen more.
Yeah, it seems like that. Hey, Timothy Chalamet could use some Bugs Bunny. He's been shitting over. He briefly shat on high arts. Would you say high arts? Classical arts? I don't know.
Yes.
The Brady Bunch house is now a landmark. The hardest games are from the 1980s. There's somebody wrote about what they think is the 10 hardest games, and 70% are from the 80s. And finally, we're going to talk about a Wonder Years star who has an interesting, let's say, palate. Don't Google it. Just stay with us. Oh, boy.
Okay.
Marcus says you all have some kind of video filter going on the live stream, and John's mic is hot. Oh, he caught that too. Clean your screen, Marcus. Get a baby wipe or something. Wipe off your screen. Yeah, there you go. You good now? All right. Hey, enough of giving Marcus his chores for today. Let's get started. Teaching him about hygiene. All right, first up in 1980s news. For decades, Bigfoot has been regarded by most as a myth. Okay, just pause. But
not by all.
In the 1970s, Bigfoot was really, really popular. I mean, that was when the forest ape, as depicted by Andre the Giant, of all people, made a cameo on the $6 Million Man. And today, believers of the legend have a chance to sway public opinion in their favor for the first time in many years. Some unusual and frightening sightings in Northeast Ohio, where I live, have many people talking about believing in Bigfoot. The Bigfoot Society has reported 6 incidents in Northeast Ohio in the last several days, which, for me, that sounds like, 6 chances for someone to bullshit or scam somebody. But not for the Bigfoot people. This is significant because no one could scam somebody 6 times.
Oh, no.
For 3 days in a row. All right, I'm sorry. I wanted to pace myself. And also, this is honest. I had put some stuff in here. I was like, this seems like I'm just disrespecting John and his religion of sorts. So I took it out. And now here I am just shitting on his faith. Okay.
Just ad-libbing it right back in.
Back to this. All right. In several updates on its Facebook page with more than 286,000 followers, experts outlined, what was that page? It's some the Bigfoot. Here we go. Oh, I said that already. The Bigfoot Society. That's what I'm talking about. On their Facebook page. They outlined several reports of a massive creature having been spotted in Portage County heading toward Trumbull County. According to Jeremiah Byron, host of the Bigfoot Society podcast, while it's normal for there to be Bigfoot sightings all over the United States, it's, quote, not normal to have multiple sightings in a small area within a short number of days, end quote.
There's a really good line of explanation in a documentary that I watched, that I rewatch regularly, that often people will go, well, if it was real, we'd have spotted him by now. We'd have one caught. And the guy goes, anyone who believes that's the case is ignorant of what the United States looks like when you fly over it.
I said, yeah.
There are thousands and 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 thousands of unpopulated forest acres where people don't go.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, and we are regularly finding new species. So to say like, well, why do we see them? They didn't walk down the street in Chicago yet. Well, they don't go there. It's just like any other undiscovered I don't know that he exists, but I'm eager to be vindicated when it's proven that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess today, though, in this age of science and enlightenment and, true news is the opposite of fake news. Truth.
Yeah.
Look, folks, someone could fly a drone over this county area and just, with an infrared device or something and just settle this kind of shit, I think. Look, obviously I'm going to play counterpoint. Look, John, this is off the top of my head. I don't know if this is true, but I'm guessing the new species we're discovering are like tree frogs, that are a size of a quarter and not a 10-foot biped. So I don't know, apples, it's apples to apples.
It's a fair point, but in the grand scale of the forested area that we have, you can be pretty big and still be missing. And then they also say, well, hey, we have cell phones. Everyone walks around with a phone in their pocket. Therefore, it would have been photographed by now. We just had these 6 sightings and not a picture.
Yeah.
Because you're not walking around with the phone on, right? You see something and it scampers and go, oh shit, where's my phone? Too late. That's the problem.
I'm just hoping that he comes to Will's County and takes up golf because Will lives near a golf course. And I think that, that's a great opportunity for not much cover, but I think that would be a great opportunity for some photo evidence.
He can hide in the rough.
Yeah.
Yes.
You better not break one of my windows, though, because then it may get rude.
He'd be in big trouble.
Go for it.
Hey, you mother! Head gone.
Little man, no yell at Bigfoot. Is what he sounds like, maybe.
Oh, cool. So this guy Byron, who has this podcast, interviewed over 1,000 people on the subject. So he's an expert. He told Fox 8, a local news station here, that the claims seem sincere. The reports started on March 6th with 2 encounters in Mantua Center, followed by 2 more on March 9th in Garrettsville. Quote, a guy and his friend were hiking on the Headwaters Trail and they saw a 10-foot Sasquatch. When it was grunting at them, it turned its head at the shoulders, not neck, which is an important detail that's crazy. So I saw this interview with this guy who's this expert telling this story that I just quoted. And John, he seems to believe like this is, to people who know about Bigfoot, this is important, that they notice that it doesn't turn on its neck, it turns its entire body. Of course, I was reminded of Michael Keaton's Batman cowl, that terrible costume design.
That too. Yeah.
So I was like, well, if that's a terrible costume design, isn't it possible these people that are dressed in ape costumes can't afford one with a turning head? But back to you, and I respect your faith. What's the significance? Have you heard that before about the head turning thing?
Well, it's pretty commonly reported that it is almost like no neck. None, but I mean, the musculature is such that it's kind of like,
his traps.
He's not like a long. Yeah, right.
Traps up to his ears.
Super ripped. His traps are super, and so he's kind of like, or maybe like his head is even down lower toward his sternum. So. When you turn like that, if we turn your head and all you see is shoulder, well, you learn to turn your entire body in order to see other things. Otherwise, you have no peripheral. So that's not uncommon. And also, it's not the way a dude in a suit would behave or the way a dude in a suit would know to behave differently unless they also knew this information and faked it many times, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. But you would hope someone that knows it is a respecter of the lore and not someone who's trying to take advantage of people based on it.
Yeah.
You would hope.
Yeah.
An older woman in Wyndham who did not previously believe in Bigfoot also saw something massive run in and out of the woods on March 9th. The next report, look, this is just one report after another. The next report.
And then I saw her face.
Is this the Bigfoot after he falls in love with this old woman?
No, that's her. Now she's a believer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Why did you assume the gender of the Bigfoot was male?
Oh, wow. Ooh. John, I got some exploring to do.
You really get educated.
John, I got to find that Bigfoot that's inside of me. I've been looking outside all this time and thinking it wasn't real.
You were the Bigfoot the whole time.
Yep. The next report came from Newton Township on March 10th from a man taking his dog outside at 4 a.m. According to Byron, the dog freaked out and lunged towards the wood line where a 10-foot tall shadowy figure stood. The dog, he said, couldn't stop shaking. Fox 8 asked if anyone took pictures or video, but Byron said the encounters were only a few seconds and the people were just outside doing other things and not prepared.
There you go.
Now,
there you go.
And also, John, look, I'm going to go the opposite way. If these guys are somehow associated or more connected to like UFOs, let's say, because of the, what did we say, the not causal relationship, the other thing. It's not causal. Yeah. It's what's the
Coincidental?
yeah. Whatever. That maybe they got some technology because these Bigfoots are never sticking around for very long. You see them and then they disappear into a pocket dimension or something. Maybe they just come here for some nuts and berries or something because they're always in the forest. And then they go back to their own world, which is, urban, is an urban jungle.
Maybe.
According to Byron, one of the most famous incidents occurred in Minerva, Ohio in August 1978 and became known as the Minerva Monster. Then a family reported being terrorized by a creature. Sheriff's deputies could not find the animal, however, but noted a very strong, unusual musky ammonia in the air.
Yeah.
Of course, legends of a large ape-like beast date back further than that. Since the 1950s, the U.S. version has been Bigfoot because other places in the world and throughout the United States, right, John? We talked about this. They call them different things.
Skunk ape, Sasquatch.
Is Yeti a more European thing?
Yeah,
or?
Yeti tends to be more of the like the Himalayas and the snowy, cold regions.
Right. I went on that ride at Disney when they had it.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been on that.
Back when the animatronic worked and it actually moved.
But in the U.S., we call it Bigfoot, and the people who do believe it, Bigfoot believe he dwells in forests, or she, or they, in the American Northwest. Now, I learned about this interesting story that since 1976, the FBI has had a file on Bigfoot. Because that year, Director Peter Byrne of the Bigfoot Information Center and Exhibition in Oregon sent the FBI about 15 hairs attached to a tiny piece of skin. Byrne wrote that his organization couldn't identify what kind of animal it came from and was hoping the FBI might help. This was also, by the way, this is just a couple years after Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin released their famous footage in, not a couple years, it's a decade, I guess, later.
And in that Gimlin-Patterson footage, you also see that's a female and also kind of turns at the shoulders rather than the head to look over her shoulder at Gimlin, who's over there. So, yeah.
Well, how do you know it's a female?
So you can see the structure, and you can see clearly that it has breasts that are the shape of the torso, that it seems to be female, and so they've always attributed that example in that footage is a female of the species.
I thought you were going to say because you got turned on. That's how I know. A young John. That's how I knew I liked
God,
female.
an involuntary reaction.
Hello.
Well, yeah. So this Peter Byrne sends this. Can you imagine the FBI like, what the fuck is this? A bag full of hair on the skin attached to it? Someone go arrest Peter Byrne. But instead, they said, look, we don't normally investigate things that are not related to crimes, but we'll make an exception because of they occasionally do because of potential scientific interest. So it turns out, though, when they did take a look at it, it turns out that they reported back a year later that the hair didn't belong to Bigfoot. Instead, it was the hairs of a deer.
John, I like how you knew the what Will was talking about earlier, the name of the what was it, a study or an example? And that
I try to embroil myself in that stuff that I'm interested in. So it's not like I'm a researcher and I'm taking notes, but you watch enough shows and documentaries, you're going to pick up on some of this stuff.
Kat, it's the two guys that are responsible for the footage of that famous, profile that John, he keeps sending the pictures of John of.
Right, Gimlin-Patterson. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. That
cool.
documentary I talked about, I think it's Gimlin is in that documentary.
Yeah, and I believe it's Gimlin, right? He was like, I don't know if Patterson was pranking me or not. He's like, if he was, it was really involved, and he had to set that up for a long time.
Huh.
Yeah.
I believe it, but it's possible, but I don't know.
Yeah, and they had been out for days and days and days. They were basically making circles around the woods, hoping to spot something because they knew you'd just walk out there and poof. Right. And that's why they were out there. That's why they had a camera, a Super 8 camera, right? It wasn't like they had their cell phone. So normally you wouldn't be out in the woods with a camera. They were there specifically looking. So, and it was on like the 8th or 9th day that they finally spotted her.
Yes.
It's worth noting that the original evidence that launched the Bigfoot craze, a trail of oversized footprints discovered in the same region in 1958, the same Northern California region, I believe, as the Gimlin-Patterson, was revealed to be a prank by logger Ray L. Wallace in 2002. Similarly, many people believe the Bigfoot creature in the Patterson-Gimlin film was costumed to prankster as well. Byrne, however, the guy who's head of this organization that sent those hairs, has always believed the footage was real. Based on the recent sightings in Ohio, so back to today and back to Ohio, Byron, this other expert we'd mentioned, believes the creature is heading east-southeast
I was hoping you were going to mention that.
Yeah. Why?
Seems like he's headed straight for John.
Right?
Yeah?
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Yeah.
I'll just let him in. Come on in. See, I would be curious with all these sightings in Ohio.
Yeah.
If someone, we've had multiple sightings now within a couple of days, someone has seen something standing in a location. Have they gone and looked for evidence in those locations? Be they prints or be they
scatological
hairs or whatever, right? Because now we know a place where I spotted them, next to this signpost or next to this tree. You think you'd go there and try to dig up whatever evidence is left
some kind
over.
of DNA, right?
You would think so. Unless they've got more clever since those, decades ago. Now they clean up their footprints. They make sure they bag their food, bury their waste.
They practice leave no trace, yes.
Leave the forest better than when you got there.
Yes.
It's like an old Western. They're walking backwards, wiping their footprints with a brush.
Walking backwards.
Sweeping them away.
Yeah.
No.
No. Maybe there's a gray sweeping up behind it. Hey, Ted says, I want to go Bigfoot hunting with John. Everybody does, Ted. Back of the line. Brandon says, it would be cool if Bigfoot was real, but I can't help but think by now some random hunter in the woods would have accidentally pissed on an 8-foot skeleton in the dirt.
Yep.
Oh, and Ted says, look, there's a conversation going on in the chat here, John.
Yes.
Ted responds, Brandon, maybe the skeletons are like deer antlers and are eaten by other animals. And to which Brandon says, Ted, perhaps, but I've seen a heck of a lot more deer antlers than I've seen Bigfoot bones. I'm just saying.
And you don't know whether or not this species is social. Do they dispose of their dead? Do they bury their dead? Do they put them in a tree stump? If in fact they have some hominid DNA or some similarity back on the evolutionary tree, who's to say they don't have? They're not just wild animals. Perhaps they're taking care of their own and their dead and their. Maybe.
And for what I'm suggesting about this technology, maybe they are able to whisk stuff away. And maybe that accounts for the smell, of the portal opening. Maybe that's the smell we're there. Why is my idea crazy and what you think is not? I was trying to help. All right, whatever. Well, I'm going back to my other side now.
I feel like when you add a space portal to it, it somehow makes it less believable.
Yes.
Wait a second. I didn't add it though, right? I mean,
right.
You were talking space portals already. I learned that from you.
Sure, I didn't say portals, but certainly I said there is certainly a correlation between UFO sightings.
That's the word. That's the word you were looking for, Will. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not coincidental. Correlation.
Not causation, but correlation. Yep.
Right.
All right. Hey, next up in 1980s news, something a little more grounded. Per people, did we learn about the art? This is my question. This is not people's question. Did we learn? I really wonder. Okay. Did we learn about the arts from Bugs Bunny? And, Bugs Bunny's, ilk. And this is why I'm wondering this. Because last month, Timothy Chalamet, that young actor who was Willy Wonka, he's in the Dune movies.
Supreme Marty.
Or Marty Supreme? Supreme Marty, yeah.
I know it's Marty Supreme. He was a Supreme Marty. I said it backwards and realized it sounded like I was dumb.
Timothy Chalamet joined Matthew McConaughey. There's a lot of names. Matthew McConaughey for a Variety and CNN a town hall at the University of Texas at Austin. Chalamet first reflected on the challenges facing movie theaters in today's entertainment landscape, but the conversation eventually turned to other art forms, prompting Chalamet to stick his foot deep in his mouth, making an offhanded remark about ballet and opera.
He's very limber.
Yes.
Chalamet said, quote, I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, let's keep this thing alive, even though it's like no one cares about it anymore.
Ooh, goodness.
He said, drawing laughter from both McConaughey and the crowd. The actor quickly tried to soften the moment, acknowledging how the comment might be perceived, saying, quote, all respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership.
Wow. Goodness.
That was him saving
that's
it?
some apology.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. He's walking it back about a quarter inch.
Yes.
Ballet would have been helpful. He could have probably leaped and spun back.
I just lost 14 cents. Yikes.
Damn it, right? Jeez. Way to get a load of this. The remark quickly ignited backlash from artists, including from professional ballerina Misty Copeland, who was used in the promotion for Marty Supreme, the film for which Chalamet was nominated for an Academy Award. Copeland said, quote, First, I have to say that it's very interesting that he invited me to be a part of promoting Marty Supreme with respect to my art form. End quote. Copeland began when speaking on a panel in New York City last weekend. The famed dancer went on to say that it's, quote, often mistaken when something is popular that it's meaningful or more impactful. But there's a reason that the opera and ballet have been around for over 400 years. Chalamet wouldn't be an actor and have the opportunities he has as a movie star if it weren't for opera and ballet and their relevance in that medium. End quote.
Nice.
Before we talk about why I'm even bringing this up, I think this is fascinating, is that Chalamet's sister, mother, and grandmother were all ballerinas. And he's spoken previously about growing up backstage at New York's Koch Theater, where the New York City Ballet performs. He wore a New York City Ballet baseball cap in Paris. He grew up in Manhattan Plaza, a building for artists, including actors, singers, and dancers. He went to the Fame High School, that performing arts high school that Fame is based on.
Yeah.
The New York Times came to his defense, arguing that he's not wrong with his comments and that it's not that ballet isn't important. And I think they're trying to massage his words in a way that there's no context for this other than knowing his history and saying, well, he couldn't have meant that because of his connection to these arts, through his family. But the New York Times said it's not that ballet isn't important. This is what he really meant. It's not that ballet isn't important. It's that the world can't wrap its mind around finding its true value.
That's not what he said.
That's not what he said.
That's not all what he said, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's worth noting that he's a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's famous and rich, but his life experience and likely is not even the same as someone else of his same age because he spent his life with a very different upbringing because he's been in film and theater since he's a young man. So, I mean, yeah, kids say stupid stuff. That's okay. As he gets older and wiser, he'll recognize, the benefit. Just because it's not popular to him doesn't mean it's on the ropes or struggling.
I think it was just an insensitive kind of, he just tossed it out there. And
not as big as movies like me, right? That's his myopic viewpoint.
Maybe it's even some goofy not rivalry, like a family thing. It's like, oh, you guys do that. I'm not involved in that. But he's on a big stage. A lot of people heard that.
Kat was just hired by Chalamet's publicist. You see, she's doing one more spin for him. We're well done, Kat.
Kat is a trained dancer. She'll just pirouette the shit out of this thing. Get back on track.
Pirouette. No. I'm not trying to defend him, but I don't think he meant it as some big opinion that he's going to die on a hill for. Like, I think
he's a dumb kid.
Stupid. Yeah. Just
whatever.
Think before you talk, kind of.
Yeah. A guy his age who wasn't Timothy Chalamet, we wouldn't be talking about this. Just some kid said something stupid about ballet.
Yes. And I read a quote by, somebody saying that and they named a famous, I think it was a famous male dancer or, famous in that world, accomplished, successful male dancer that's, of the same age, that if he had said it, nobody would be paying attention, which that may actually reinforce Chalamet's notion that it's not important in the way that, he's suggesting movies are important. Although he was suggesting movies are important, I think, because of money, because of its 14 cents crack, right? That good art is reduced down to how commercial it is.
Now, when you say male dancer, do you mean like the Thunder Down Under, or what are we talking about?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The Savannah Bananas. Yeah. All that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Right? You see those dancers on that baseball team? They're fantastic.
I have.
Holy cow.
Yeah, remarkable.
No, I mean, a male ballet star. What do you call a male ballerina, Kat? Is that a ballerino? Is it just a dancer, ballet dancer?
Yeah, you know what? I never really thought about it. I'm not sure that there's
it isn't. It's the opposite. Like it's the Smurfette paradigm, but in the reverse. We have ballerina.
Right.
I need to maybe take off a suffix. He's just a baller.
A baller. It's baller.
A baller. He's a baller.
A
baller. And ballerinas. Perfect.
Yeah, it's right on the nose. But look, you're pointing out that he's just a kid, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. But that sort of leads me to my sort of premise of this whole conversation in part is, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen opera before. Not a fan, but I respect the medium. Same thing with ballet. It depends on what ballet it is. I get bored pretty quickly. I've had my best naps during a ballet performance. Not my kids though. I'm always awake during those.
Only because you had to walk down the front to record it. And then you came back right back to sleep.
I don't know, John. You could sleep behind a camera. You ever do that? You get a little tripod set up with your elbows on the armrest. Yeah, you could do it. It's possible.
I'll watch it later. I'm recording it.
Yeah. It's not like there's any explosions or anything in a ballet, so you're pretty good. I saw this really cool ballet once, though. It was Sleeping Beauty, an adaptation of Sleeping Beauty, which is a ballet. And no, I didn't sleep because what they did is they said it. How would you say it? They
All
made
nude.
it. They made. I could do it. Less ballers in this. Less ballers.
It was wide awake.
Ballerinos, whatever you call it. No, they made it about vampires. So, like.
Interesting.
Sleeping Beauty was asleep because, she had been bitten by a vampire, and it was this family of vampires. Oh my God. And they had puppets in it. And there was like like the Maleficent character was like this male vampire who like wings open up like, and it's great. Oh, it's so fantastic. Can't remember the guy's name who created these ballets, but he does ballets like that make them really popular. But I'm wondering if our love, our appreciation, because I feel like much like I love and enjoy music from the 50s and 60s, et cetera, from my parents' generation, because they exposed me to it.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before. Younger kids don't get that benefit necessarily because there's so much. I would argue that my interest in classical music, ballet, opera began with Looney Tunes. Because Looney Tunes, and it's equally influential, although less famous, sibling Merry Melodies, actively relied on music, classical music, to pull off some of the funniest gags in cartoon history. And I don't know whether the producers used those tracks because they heightened by juxtaposition, the on-screen silliness setting it to this classical piece, or because they were in the public domain and therefore free, other than paying the composer to recreate them.
Right.
The shorts were certainly my first exposure to everything from light opera to German symphonies.
Yeah. And beyond just having it as the soundtrack for some of those gags, sometimes the gag was in the theater at a show.
Yes.
Or at an opera. It wasn't always just classical music behind Yosemite Sam out in the prairie. Sometimes it was literally, I picture Bugs Bunny with his the front of his tuxedo rolling up like a window shade,
Yep.
And many times it literally happened at the theater.
Yes.
On top of having classical music.
Yep, I can picture Bugs doing ballet, right? I know there's a scene where he's I don't remember
Lake.
where he is. Yep. Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah, I've got a list of at least a few that were some of the most memorable one. I think what John you're thinking of is a corny concerto from 1943, where we actually see Elmer Fudd. He's got the thing that keeps rolling up on him. He's at what you see at the outside is Carnegie Hall. And he introduces two segments, each of which is a cartoon segment set to classical music. The first one being by, they're both by Johann Strauss. The second one I remember more vividly. It's Blue Danube, where you see a swan with four little swanlings, and a young Daffy Duck is trying to join the family. And she keeps chasing them off. Hey, I know of the Barber of Seville because of Bugs Bunny and Our Gang. Do you remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and part of the Barber of Seville, and it's just in addition to Alfalfa singing, "I'm the Barber of Seville," pling. Do you remember this? They did a talent show of sorts where Spanky was organizing it, and Alfalfa insisted he was going to be an opera singer. He winds up having like a dream where he's a famous opera singer. He's at odds with Spanky, and they're old. And yeah. But additionally, in Bugs Bunny, they had some different tracks. What do you call it in his classical music? I don't know. Movements.
They were laying down tracks.
From the Barber of Seville is Figaro.
Oh, yes.
Which we've heard certainly in a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
That was a very good rendition, Will.
Thank you.
It was.
Figaro.
I think one of I got two here. These two last ones here that you'll remember. What's Opera Doc from 1957? It's a classic. It's the first animated short film to be selected for preservation by the National Film Registry. It opens with the Flying Dutchman, which is the piece of music by Richard Wagner. Oh, okay, yeah. This is the one that has Elmer Fudd dressed as a Viking.
It's Kill the Wabbit, right?
Yes, Kill the Wabbit.
And they're in the theater on that one, right? Kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit.
Yeah, he sings to the tune of the Flight of the Ride of the Valkyries.
Yes, Ride of the Valkyries.
And look, there's tons, but I think the other one that leaps out to me is the Hungarian Rhapsody #2, which has appeared in more cartoons than I could count, and I just have two that I'll leap right out to you here as an example here.
Look, one hand. No hands.
recognize it already.
Oh, the typewriter. Yes.
And of course, this is the same piece of music Daffy and Donald play.
Does anybody understand what this duck is saying?
That Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
I wish I had a list of how many cartoons it was in. I came across, I want to say at least, I don't know, 2 dozen.
I forget which piece of classical music it is, but of course I was a band nerd in middle school and junior high and high school.
Yeah.
And the first time they would bring out, of course you get pop music. I remember the very first piece of music that I played in junior high was Centerfold.
Oh, it's awesome.
An orchestra arrangement for that. But when they would bring out classical music and we would start to play it, everybody would go, "Oh, it's from the cartoon." You would recognize it from there because that was, like you said, our first exposure to a lot of those.
Right.
We weren't sitting around the house going, "Let's see, today will it be Bach or Schubert?" Or no, we were just listening to whatever was in the house and what was popular. But our first exposure was there. So I remember they passed those sheet music out and we're like, "I don't know this song." We don't. And then you play it and you go, "Oh, I know what it is."
I have some follow up. A male ballet dancer is just a ballet dancer, or a danseur.
Did you say belly dancer?
The male ballet dancers are belly dancers. Yep.
Maybe a bally dancer.
Yes.
I like baller. He's a shot caller.
Yeah. I'm not saying
It's a belly dancer from Bali. That's what a baller is.
Satisfies all the alternate options.
Marcus says regarding Chalamet, maybe it was a joke and everyone should cover up their sensitive nuts. Marcus also says, I'm in a huge hurry to head out to the ballet and or opera, and I'm sure most people are.
Is that sarcasm?
Brandon says, when it comes to cartoons, just give me some Chilly Willy the Penguin. Oh, me, oh my, I'm chilly all the time. He was the cutest character ever. Yes, I love Chilly Willy too.
I'm a big Tennessee Tuxedo fan. We go down that route.
Okay, yeah. Was that, what's his name? Don Adams, right? Was that Don Adams?
Don Adams.
Oh, yep. I love Don Adams' voice. Oh, love Get Smart. Love Inspector Gadget.
Chumley, it's time to go see Dr. Whoopi.
Wow, that's pretty good, John.
Oh, thank you.
That's pretty good.
I've watched a lot of Tennessee Tuxedo.
I love that.
Repeating it out of my head. That's all.
I loved it strictly just because of his voice. Hey, and otherwise in 1980s news, as reported by the AP, the Brady Bunch house is now a landmark. Here's the story of how a modest mid-century home became a Los Angeles landmark. The 1959 Studio City property was only used as the exterior of the Brady family home from 1969 when the sitcom began until it finished in 1974. The interiors were filmed on a soundstage. And even though the sets bore no resemblance to the actual property, the San Fernando Valley home has been a photo destination for fans. So you couldn't fit that studio set in that house, including the fact that when you look at the house, it's only one floor. It's a ranch.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Those kids were upstairs, and there was an attic. And some season, somebody was living in the attic. Greg was living in the attic or something.
Maybe the most famous stairwell ever.
Right? Yeah.
Kids come running down those stairs. How many times a season? Coming down that, yeah.
And it's so 70s. It's the floating stairs.
Yeah.
And publicity stills of them all on the steps at different heights and everything. Yeah. It never occurred to me that it was a single floor.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, on March 4th, the Los Angeles City Council voted unanimously to designate it as a historic cultural monument. The landmark status protects the home from demolition or major renovations, unlike the east wing of the White House. Too soon? Actually, that was protected too, but fuck it. I mean, we love whatever's happening with everything, so that's good too.
Supposed to be protected. Yeah.
With tarps.
It protects the home from demolition or major renovations, but it doesn't prohibit them. If owners ever decide to make big changes, they would be subject to a design review, and the Cultural Heritage Commission can delay the process to find preservation solutions. It's supposed to be the same with the White House, incidentally. So
theoretically.
Big changes, however, prior to this were made, and not too long ago. When the former owner died after living at the property for nearly 50 years, which I guess that's almost the entirety of, right, since the show went off the air, which was 60 years ago, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, after this former owner died, it was sold in 2018 for $3.5 million to the HGTV network.
Really? So the network owns it now?
Not now, but they did in 2018 when they outbid the former NSYNC member Lance Bass by paying almost double the listing price. They had to have it. And the reason why is because in the following year, the 7-episode A Very Brady Renovation followed the actors from the original series, the 6 kids, as they helped the network renovate the interiors to look like the Brady home.
That's cool.
So it didn't, but then it did. And like I mentioned, these were extensive. As the Studio City house was a single story while the Brady home had 2 floors, they recreated everything, including the bright orange Formica kitchen counters.
Nice.
And the famous staircase that led up to the entirely new second story, which they didn't need a staircase at all originally.
So they built a second story onto it, or did they just make it go to the attic?
Oh, no, they have the attic. They have the second story and an attic, too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It reportedly cost $2 million to do the renovations, much more than the initial $350,000 estimate. Contractors, right? Every time.
Right?
I renovated a condo once, years ago, and the contractors quoted me one thing, and then literally when they were done, I was like, oh, wound up being double that.
You can almost see how it happened with the Brady house, because they're going through that going, all right, we could cut corners here, but we're trying to replicate exactly. We have to have this particular tile or this particular carpet or whatever. So, and it's, well, I was going to say 50. It's got to be going on 60 years from when the house was built and first decorated and then was in the series.
Yep.
So that stuff's got to be hard to come by. So I can see why costs would inflate on that project. If not your condo, certainly on that project.
Yeah, it was built in 1959. And as long as the contract, this is not a PSA about working with contractors. As long as they keep telling you what's up? What happened?
We're doing the Brady thing.
As long as
we're Brady bunching you.
As long as let me put my mic on. As long as they keep, apprising you of the different increase in value or costs, then you're going to be fine. All right. Who's Alice in this? I don't know. Nobody. We don't have an Alice. Can't fit an Alice. In May 2023, though, Kat, this is going back to what you were saying earlier. HGTV flipped the 5-bedroom home for $5.5 million to Brady Bunch superfan Tina Trahan, who told the Wall Street Journal that the property was, quote, the worst investment ever.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. These stairs don't lead anywhere.
Hey!
This is ridiculous.
What is this painting of the second floor at the top of these stairs? It's cardboard.
This oven is just a facade. It opens up to nothing. It's a wall. Right? It's all fake.
John, you're hitting on something.
So the house is impractical and not usable because of its design?
Yes.
Everything's on one wall because it had to be for shooting, right?
John is a genius. Look, so the woman says it's the worst investment ever. Now, she says that in tongue-in-cheek because she does plan on using it for fundraising and charitable events and as a luxury rental. So, she would never planned to live there. In fact, she spotted I think it's interesting, she spotted the listing while browsing Zillow and immediately recognized it in the picture. Like, wait a second, is this the Brady Bunch house?
That's cool.
Wait,
did she buy it sight unseen? She just bought it?
She bought. So she bought it from HGTV, who had. Oh, I see what you mean. No, she had seen it. She's a huge Brady fan.
Okay.
Why is this stupid house $5 million? I'll buy it. Surely she knew.
Yeah, her husband. Well, they seem like they got money, obviously. But she said she felt HGTV paid too much for the home as it has no working appliances in order to look identical to the Brady home.
Nailed it.
Trahan said, quote, no one is going in there to make pork chops and applesauce in that kitchen.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Anything you might do to make the house livable would take away from what I consider artwork. End quote.
It's the Last Supper problem, right? You got a 20-foot table and all 13 dudes are on one side.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And that's for clarity of the shot. And so you don't know the other side of the kitchen looks like. No. That's where the camera is. There's only the set, right? That was the house. The set doesn't have that wall. That's where all the cameras are. And so everything has to exist on one wall or 2 walls, I guess, in order to get the shot. So I hadn't thought of the fact that to replicate that house, they had to pretend what was on the 4th wall that doesn't exist because they don't have shots of it. Because they didn't have it in the Brady house or in the show.
See, now I thought we saw Alice cooking, though, on a stove. Didn't we? Ever? In an oven taking out pies or cookies? Or maybe she's just behind the counter with the trays on the floor already.
Yes, and there's
well, you could probably put cookies in the box, but I'm not saying it's a working stove.
Yeah, but if you can't, but if you have the facade of it or the implication of it, you could put a real one in there without affecting the aesthetic that was visible to us as a viewer. I think she's suggesting what you're saying, John. You didn't see a stove, so we can't put a stove.
I thought the stove was on the island. In the island.
Yeah.
There was an island. Am I right? I was going to ask you. I'm not having a false memory, right?
I think that's where the burners were, and I thought the oven was behind.
Yes. I thought it was on the wall behind them.
Yeah. And they had a
One of those
refrigerator.
really vertical ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's just an air fryer and a microwave.
This almost makes me want to go watch some Brady Bunch.
Right?
Take some notes. Over the past 2 years, Tran has added roughly 400 props and Easter eggs referencing moments from the show, including the flashlight Greg once used to fake a UFO sighting. I wish he only was faking a Bigfoot sighting. That would have been perfect. To fake a UFO sighting and a stuffed giraffe like the one that appeared in the girl's bedroom. She even had 3 different giraffes custom made before settling on the right size.
Oh my goodness.
So she's really into it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if there's a fictional home I would like to live in. You know, I mean, Silver Spoons comes right to mind because they had that train that, you know, the dad would drive around on, and they had an arcade. Besides it being a mansion.
I hated Ricky Schroeder. He had arcade games in his house. Yeah.
He was kind of a dick too. Although Jason Bateman's character was more of a dick, but
Really, any of them. I could live in
well,
any
I
of
don't
those
know.
houses.
I mean, you could love a show like you love the Dukes of Hazzard. Would you want to live in the Dukes of Hazzard's home?
That's an excellent question. Or I loved Sanford and Son. Would I want to live in the junkyard?
You
I don't know.
would. You would, Kat.
I would actually.
We've never seen it, but we've heard you describe your basement, and I think it's not unlike that.
Nah. Maybe the Munsters house.
That would be
If
cool.
it came with Spot.
Yeah.
If included Spot under the stairs.
Yes.
Yep.
That
Yep.
would be cool.
That'd be great.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. Get rid of bill collectors. Yeah. Cat's pulling the handle.
So Brandon is wondering
Yeah.
if someone will leave a dead fish on the porch of this house.
Yeah. What would be the equivalent?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, John, if you'd seen the Brady Bunch, you'd know.
Damn it. I miss all the important touchstones in
What
my
it is,
generation.
John, is in the Goonies, they leave a fish on the Brady Bunch house.
Oh,
So since you haven't seen the Goonies, you don't know.
Well, no spoilers. No spoilers.
the Goonies cinematic universe, Brady Bunch are included.
Let's talk about something else on this show here. Let's see.
Okay.
We're not submitting this show for any awards, by the way. Not this episode. This
Maybe
is just
not
like
this
a,
episode.
relax.
Oh, I'm gonna quit trying.
You know, like every season, right? You watch
To
a
which
show.
Will says, "You were trying."
Come on, John. Come on, John. Let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, you watch shows, right? It's not so much anymore because now you have shows that are like, 8 episodes a season. But in the old days, we know we had these filler episodes. Sometimes they were clip shows, which they would literally use to just save that budget for another episode, across the episodes.
Right. We typically have 45 episodes a season. We're putting in the work.
Anyway, so that's what this episode is, guys. So we can have fun. That's the good news. Speaking of having fun, hey, as reported by comicbook.com, 70% of the hardest arcade games are from the 1980s. Oh, look, I'm going to say a bunch of stuff, and John's going to buzz in when I'm wrong. What, John?
So if 70% of the hardest are from the 80s, and then the other 30% are from the 90s, and that's all there is.
Yeah, then that's right.
And there's outliers, 2 or 3% that happened after that, because by then the arcades were drying up. Not entirely. I mean, I've been to Dave and Buster's. They have garbage games like that, but still.
John, I deserve this because I shat all over your Bigfoot stuff. So I deserve it. I deserve to come up with an angle to look at this top 10 list that you can, just shoot down. You're right. I'm taking 10. They took 10 games from the 2 decades that arcade games are the most popular. And it turns out 7 of them are from the 1980s. Probably also the decade where more of them were made.
Surprise.
Yeah, all right. Let me tell you a couple things I learned that I'm going to make it sound like I just knew.
Okay.
By the 1930s, companies were already producing the coin-operated progenitors to modern-day pinball machines. The 1930s.
Wow.
The first commercially successful of those was Baffle Ball, which was created by David Gottlieb. Yeah, the Gottlieb of pinball's fame. Way back in 1931. They cost a penny for around 10 balls. You get like somewhere 10 or 12 balls, depending on the game.
Whoa.
So by the time arcade games rolled around in the 1970s, there was a paradigm of sorts for the latest pay-to-play venture. Of course, there was skee-ball and stuff like that, but now pinball games are more akin to this in the sense that you had to press buttons to make different things happen. But when Nolan Bushnell, ultimately who founds Atari, introduces Computer Space in 1971, it wasn't terribly popular because it's confusing. People don't know. The game's confusing. The gameplay, what do I do with these buttons and these levers and handles and cranks? What am I doing here?
Your mom knows what to do with those buttons.
Yes, that's entirely true.
God, Kat.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
But just a year later,
Poor Will.
Poor
Will's mom.
yeah. No, she knows, so she's fine. Mom knows about the buttons, how to get them going. But just a year later, Pong, they figure it out because Pong is released, much simpler, easy to grasp without having, have an instruction manual. And it's a huge hit.
To that end, can I share this great anecdote that you may have seen in your research?
Yeah, please. This is not research, John. I just know this.
Okay.
That's right.
They put one of the first Pongs in this place called Andy Capp's Bar, named after the cartoon character, right?
Yeah.
And said, try it out. We'll see how it does. And after the first weekend, they called and goes, this thing doesn't work. Come and fix it. It was overflowing with quarters and would not accept any more to start a new game.
Oh my gosh.
That's why it wasn't working any longer. And we could be onto something.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
But, as they start hitting on this, that they have to keep games simple, right? But you can't, the simplicity of the game has to be balanced against the cost to have the real estate in this mom and pop shop or ultimately in arcades. And while there's a sweet spot, I'm guessing that rewards both the consumers and the owner, some people accuse developers of just creating straight up quarter munchers. It doesn't regard that, And look, I can recall specifically the games that first had me question the integrity of Atari, let's say. I'm looking at you, Gauntlet. I'm not convinced that Space Invaders, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, these early games took advantage of us in the same way. Now, per comicbook.com, where we got this 10 list, 7 of which are from the 1980s, they're suggesting that these games were hard because they were trying to take advantage of us. I disagree, but I'd be curious what you guys think. Ted says he just played Computer Space this past weekend. Holy cow.
Oh, cool.
I scored a 5 and was thrilled. I hope the top score was 6, Ted. I hope. That's the max you can get. So here's the list. Tell you what you guys think about this, right? Now, this is, according to them, this is in no particular order, and I agree, because I didn't try to organize it.
So are you going easiest to hardest of the 10 hardest, or are you going...
They literally they put them in random order, they said.
Okay,
random order. Okay.
Not order of difficulty.
So the first one on their list is Gravatar from 1982.
Tough.
I agree. That's a hard game. It's
pretty tough.
And they got a little description here for folks who don't know. It's a multi-directional shooter developed and published by Atari. And it's a vector game, which I love in particular. It's got the same control scheme as Asteroids, which in itself is challenging. And it gets more challenging as time goes on because at the time, there weren't a whole lot of games. So to learn that's pretty simple. You get to joystick games with different layouts and the more common layout that we have today. It's hard to go backwards. And there's another game on this list that's, I think, is probably the most difficult game because of that.
Okay.
But according to comicbook.com, it requires a great deal of skill to operate, which is probably why it wasn't a huge success, as most players fed the cabinet a quarter, died almost immediately, and decided it wasn't worth the challenge to try again.
Yeah. Oh, and you mentioned the control scheme is like Asteroids. The extra hiccup there, as is suggested by the name, is there's also gravity. You're not just floating in free space.
Yeah.
So as you get nearer to the surface of these planets you're flying around trying to pick up fuel and shoot these turrets, the gravity gets greater the closer you get. And so you have to keep adapting how much thrust it takes to not A, leave the orbit, or B, smash into the face of the thing. So
I saw John play, I think it was Gravatar at SFGE last year. I think it was Gravatar. Master of it.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't surprised, but I mean, just...
There's a right way.
Also that year, here's another one. This is among my favorite, probably top 5 games. Tempest, also released in 1982 by Atari, also a vector game. It's what they refer to as a tube shooter. Are there a lot of tube shooters? How can we have a whole genre when there's only one game that's a tube shooter?
A little bit. Gyrus is kind of a tube shooter.
Okay.
So you're on the outside shooting these things coming from the inside. So, and Radar Scope is kind of a tube shooter, but flat. So there are a few others. Yeah, but Tempest is the most well-known, certainly.
I just realized I'm a fan of tube shooters because I like Gyrus for the same reason, too.
You like going to Uranus.
Yes. Yep. I love blasting off to Uranus, yeah. The goal is to shoot enemies as they approach during this, and use the spinner to go around.
Uh-oh.
That was too easy, Cat. Come on.
Well, when you said, I guess I'm a fan of tube shooters, I was about to say, I bet you are. And then John comes in.
Uh-huh. John, you've corrupted her, man. You single-handedly corrupted her.
Single-handedly?
Yes.
You're here too.
I don't know why. I don't even know what she's talking about. if I say tube shooter, she says, I bet you are. What does that even mean?
I don't know, but it sounded, like a...
What is it? A tube that shoots?
The butt.
The butt? No, I didn't know. Oh, okay. Now, what's cool is that although it's challenging, Tempest was a huge success. And one thing it had going for it, which we didn't see in a lot of games, certainly at that time, and I think even since, is what they refer to as skill step, which is allowing a player to choose what level they start at.
And you get a bonus for picking a higher level, too.
Right. Which I'll add, again, I think to my point, I don't think these are quarter munchers because by doing that, you actually save money because you didn't have to pay any extra money to get to where your skill level was. And the off chance you died early for some reason, you could just start off honing your skills at that higher level. So again, I don't think they were. All right. Number 3, I agree. This is a hard game too. 1981's Zaxxon. That's a scroll. Zaxxon? You don't know Zaxxon? You know Zaxxon.
Honestly, I've never played any of these in the arcade except one of them at SFGE last year.
Oh, which one did you play?
I'll let you know when we get to it.
Oh, okay.
Zaxxon isometric space shooter coming up on a base. Yeah. Height matters.
And it's a scroller, but I can't say a side scroller because they make it seem like you're scrolling at a 45-degree angle.
That's right.
It's insane. And it's
very popular.
Confusing.
And it looks 3D. And for 1981, thinking about that, the other games in this, at the time were, and they're, albeit those were vector games, but Tempest and Gravitar.
Yep.
It seemed like a leap when I was a kid playing it at the laundromat. That was at the laromat where my friend and I would go do his laundry. For his mom would ask us to do that.
There's always like 2 games at the laundromat, one good one and one junk one. That's how it always is.
This is what we had. We had Zaxxon and we had, I think it was Turbo, the car race game, like the really early.
Oh, those are both okay, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucked out.
John's also really good at Turbo. I saw him play that too.
You and I played some Turbo. You did very well yourself.
He's being kind. But yeah, it was like, it's kind of a top down look even, for a side scroll. They make it seem like this 3D. Anyway, it is hard because I think you're operating on 3 dimensions, right? It's high and height. You have to go over walls and under shields and
that's right.
stuff. And you have to keep finding fuel.
Oh my.
Pretty sure, right?
Shoot those tanks.
Yeah.
Yep. And you only shoot them when you're all the way down on the ground where you can run into other things because that's where the fuel tanks are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. It's smartly done. It was just hard. Let's see. All right. Their number 4 is Dance Dance Revolution, a more contemporary game, of course. But number 5, also from the 1980s, is Missile Command. It's even an earlier game from 1980. It's no surprise, right, that this game was born out of our fears of nuclear annihilation. It kind of empowered us, though, as kids to imagine that we'd be able to stop the missiles from destroying our homes as we defend these 6 imaginary cities from ICBMs.
That's not what I thought of when I was a kid. All I knew is I was really, really, really good at it on our Atari.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Really good.
There you go.
But last year I played it at SFGE on an arcade cabinet and it's really hard. Yes.
I think it's easier on the cabinet because you got the trackball, right?
Well, the difficulty is scaled down because you don't have a trackball on your Atari.
Okay.
So that
Probably.
helps. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but you're and Kat, and in this game, just like I don't know. It's funny. They point this out. It's like, isn't this true of all games about how it's easy at the beginning, but it scales up significantly the longer you play.
Intentionally.
Yes,
Sure. Yep. On purpose.
Now, I think, this is one of 2, I think, of the hardest games on this list is number 6, Defender from 1981. And like I was saying about Asteroids, the controls are not intuitive in the sense that of what came later. At the time, you didn't have a whole lot of choice, so you could probably wrap your head around it. But I went from not having played Defender since the 1980s to having an emulator, and just like I can't play it at all. I cannot play it. It's impossible.
You've got to have all the buttons. Is the problem. Yeah. If you don't have all the buttons, because it has I think it's 6 different buttons plus a joystick that goes up and down because you have and then Stargate came along that has Inviso to add another one to it. You got thrust and hyperspace and reverse and fire. Yeah.
Well, and I played that one in an arcade with all the buttons. I still sucked, John. So it's just because getting your head around, well, this is forward, but then you have to reverse before you go forward again.
A lot of the game is muscle memory. You have to, if you're thinking about the controls, you've already lost.
That would be me.
So Defender's another scrolling game, a side scroller that you fight off waves of invading aliens while protecting astronauts from their attacks. It's one of the most successful scrolling shooters of the golden age of arcade video games. It established the horizontal scrolling shoot-'em-up genre that was highly influential in the games that followed. All right, number 7 is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That's a 90s one. Also, number 8 is Ultimate Mortal Kombat number 3. And number 9, though, back to the 1980s, is 1983's Dragon's Lair. That, I think, is probably, I think Defender's probably still the most difficult. Dragon's Lair, you could master seeing the timing, the little flash and timing it. Defender is, it's more organic as to what's going to happen. If you don't know, look, if you're listening to this show, you probably know Dragon's Lair was one of those leaps. It was a laser disc video game with animation created by the legendary Don Bluth.
Don Bluth. Beautiful.
Where you watched essentially a movie. And it was a game where they had extra monitors higher above, so people could just gather around and watch the movie of it. But it was very difficult because you had to time the action of the hero. You had a small window of getting it right, whether you had to push up, left, right, or sword, the button.
That's right.
And although dying was easy, they gave animation to various types of death, which I think helped it become popular along with the other animation. That even in dying, it was cool. Now I will say. Like I mentioned, Gauntlet, I think this is real. For me, this is another, this came out before Gauntlet. So maybe this was the one that really, for me, was like, all right, you're just trying to take our money now. Because
is this the number 10?
Yeah, no, the number 10 game is, I don't agree that it should be here. It's Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh.
It's a hard game, but I don't think it's consistent with the difficulty level of these other ones. But Dragon's Lair, so that's all the games. But Dragon's Lair, that was a quarter muncher, right? Didn't it even cost more than a quarter? Was it the first one? Often
did, because of the expense. Because it often cost 50 cents because of the cost of the cabinet to rent or buy. So that's why 50 cents started, is because some machines were just more expensive, and so you got to make more money back off of them.
This was the game where I was like, I see what you're doing, Don Bluth and friends.
Don Bluth's fault.
So I would just wait for someone who's good at it to come along and watch the game.
And you know the deal with that, Will, is just that here was the formula. They need to they want somebody to drop a quarter in a machine about every 3 minutes. That was the metric. And so games start out pretty easy because they want you to feel like you're doing well. And then they ramp up over time. So now that you understand the game, because that computer space was too difficult, right? It's too complex for people. That's why they layer in complexity over the course of the game, because they have those design elements. You just don't have them at the beginning. They start adding the more complex and difficult bosses or elements or gaps to jump over or whatever, because once you get past that 3 minute mark, they need to kill you or get another quarter out of you. And there's your quarter muncher, right? Gauntlet does well for a while, and then a swarm of guys come after you. So you got to put more money in, or you got to stop and start again and start a new quarter. And they started adding, there's flyers for add-on chips for Donkey Kong and stuff that says, make it more difficult. There's literally a version of Q*bert called FHMC Q*bert is the name of the game. Faster, harder, more challenging Q*bert. That's literally the name of it, because people were getting too good at Q*bert.
Gosh.
And they weren't making their money. People played them too long.
I think that's the one I was trying to play at our local arcade. I desperately wanted to be good at Q*bert. But
Cat's like, is this FHMC Pac-Man? It seems like it's really.
I thought for sure the F was going to stand for F.
No.
It's difficulty.
Faster, harder, more challenging.
All right. Hey, finally in 1980s news, let's talk about this. Now, I'm going to give you a warning.
We have a couple comments about the arcade games.
Oh, yeah. Kat, okay, go for it.
Well, Marcus mentioned that John has said that in videos about several games that they were made hard on purpose just to get as many quarters as they could, which he just explained to us.
So let's pause for a second, John. So that's really what I wanted to ask. So the conceit of this article, this list was, this is the goal. They've been robbing our quarter, creating these games so hard to steal our quarters forever. And my perspective was, I don't think they were doing it at the beginning. And I think most of those games were just hard.
So, Space Invaders gets faster the longer you play, right? The aliens get faster and faster. Sure. Entirely accidental.
Oh.
The intent was for the invaders to go the same speed, but as you run out of invaders, the CPU can make them move faster. It just happened that way.
It was just a sheer accident. Right. Oh my gosh.
And what happens when you kill the last one?
Yeah.
It's back to slow, because now it's a full screen. Mm-hmm. It takes that long to move them around the screen, and the fewer you have, the faster they get, because now the CPU is not working so hard.
That is neat.
So coincidental.
I agree. That's a formula, certainly contemporary formula. It's been for decades, but early 1980s, I think they were still figuring it out. And and probably I don't know, maybe the expense wasn't so much like John was talking about Dragon's Lair, that they had to turn it over every 3 minutes necessarily. Or the games were difficult enough because they were still new and novel. You didn't have folks like Billy Mitchell coming along and playing an entire game.
Standing there for 3 days playing a game, right? Yeah, one quarter.
Well, you let my kid play, for Christ's sake, dude. It's been 6 hours.
Come back Wednesday. Billy's on a roll.
We got reservations at Chili's. I want to get him to play before then. You could have just gone to a Pizza Hut, but it had a Pac-Man machine there.
Oh.
All right. Hey, finally.
Was it sit down?
Oh, we got more
sit down Pac-Man? Or stand up Pac-Man?
Stand up. I've only, Ted says Gravatar hard as Hades. Gravatar recharged sublime. Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
Zaxxon was mind-blowing when it came out. Isometric heaven. Ted's got a lot of opinions about video games here.
Certainly does.
He's right, too.
He got this all from Jenna Grump, no doubt. Defender was my most played game in the local arcade. During all my years, I always played it, always. Wow, you must be good at it then. I suck at it.
I always played it, just not more than 2 minutes at a time.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Because the soundscape is tremendous on those Williams games. They're just awesome to hear, like your Joust and your Robotron and stuff like that. Defender's right up there. I want to hear it. I want to put the coin in. I want to hear all the noises. It's tough as hell.
Yeah, as you guys know, I rehabbed a Defender cabinet to make it
Beautiful.
Whatever. And a lot of folks I was seeing, like, that they care less about these, like the real maniacs. They care about everything. Like I probably used I didn't use the exact number of paint that they use, so whatever. I made sure I only had one speaker. I didn't want it to be any better than that. Even if it was a stereo game for some of the later games, I was like, I only want to hear it crunch through one shitty speaker. So and Defender, I love those games for that same reason too, John. You're right, yeah.
That you salvaged out of a 74 Buick.
Oh my gosh.
Off the rear deck.
I tried to get I had the original speaker from the cabinet, was still in there, but just couldn't get working. But yeah, I got it. And Brandon says, one of my favorite arcade games was from the late 80s, early 90s. I don't know the name. All right, let's see if we can figure it out, Brandon. Come on.
Okay.
But you played as a pig and collected cans of beans and farted on the enemies. Brandon, you made that up.
What? Look at John. He's thinking.
Oh yeah, John.
He's thinking. Or he's hungry for Beanie Weenies.
The only pig game I can think of is Pooyan.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too. I don't remember any farting
until they were farting beans, and that was Pooyan is basically 3 little pigs.
I love Pooyan.
Turned into a game.
That has to be it. There can't be more than one game like that. I should say there can't be 2.
Well, there's no bean farting in Pooyan that I'm aware of. Maybe that's at a later level, and I wasn't good enough.
Okay, hey, finally in 1980s news, I'm warning you right now. We're going to talk about something gross. But everyone's going to be fine, though. And I'm going to conclude with this question. What's something interesting that you've eaten before? You don't even have to have liked it.
Okay.
Right? Hey, per people, Wonder Years star has interesting taste, let's say. Danica McKellar, the 51-year-old star of the Wonder Years, shared an unexpected story about her birth experience with son Draco. The Wonder Years, which began in 1988 and ran for 6 seasons, starred McKellar as Winnie Cooper, the love interest to the show's main protagonist, Kevin Arnold, played by Fred Savage. McKellar recalled the birth of her son Draco, who is now 15, during a March 10th appearance on the Bobby Cast, clarifying that you're, quote, not in your right mind, end quote, after giving birth. McKellar said, quote, my doula said, do you want to taste the placenta? And I'm like, sure.
Oh, wow. I've heard of this.
The published author continued adding, quote, she gave me a piece of it. And I picture Hannibal Lecter when he's cutting that liver. He's like a little corner off of it. All right, this is what she says. Quote, she gave me a piece of it. And she's talking to the host. She gave me a piece of it. Bobby, it was the best filet mignon that I've ever tasted. But more. I was embarrassed about how much I loved it.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
After the experience, McKellar explained she realized that, quote, we are meant to have that, end quote. Per the Mayo Clinic, however, no, we are not.
Well, this is not a metric, I guess, but...
Did you eat a placenta?
Well, animals very often eat the placenta after live birth.
Yes, they do.
It's very common.
Oh, yeah.
Very common.
Huh.
They're cleaning up. And
they'll also eat poop, so I won't really want to use that as the metric.
See,
but it's nutrient rich, clearly. It's been keeping your young alive. So
see, that's where the Mayo Clinic disagrees with you, John.
Oh, really?
Let's hear that.
Because they say
is it devoid of all nutrients by then? Is that the problem?
Well, they say it's not safe. And this is from their website. They say the placenta is a
it just came out of me.
Well, we'll check this out, though. This is why, because it serves as sort of a dual purpose. They say the placenta is a complex organ that, it provides nutrients and oxygen to a growing fetus, but it also filters waste that comes through the
out.
umbilical cord.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And
Interesting.
there are
So does the liver.
There are examples of, some, I want to say it's like Hep B or Hep C or something being in there. The mother eats it and then the mother has it. And because it was filtered out to keep the baby safe, then she breastfeeds and now the baby gets it, like that kind of thing.
Oh, and now you don't have the filter anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not uncommon.
Shows what I know about placenta.
It's not uncommon for, humans to eat the filters of animals, right? Like the liver and the kidneys. Huh.
Yeah,
so
but-
why do we make an exception for that?
So you're saying we eat other organs that may have waste in them? Is that what you're saying?
That filter waste. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess they're saying the placenta contains, like it still is full of whatever waste.
That's what it made it sound
Maybe it
like,
hasn't
yeah.
passed through.
I guess I don't know. Yeah. Now,
It's not been charbroiled is the problem. Perhaps if we would just put it in the toaster, the air fryer, 4 minutes on 400, placenta hoagie.
Throw it on the Barbie.
It's interesting that you say that, John, because
No, that's not in the story.
no, it's not.
That cannot be the segue.
It's not in the story, but the preamble to the clinic's admonition against eating the placenta from their website sounds like a recipe book for the consumption of the organ.
Oh,
Quote, after delivery. Now, again, they're trying to warn you about this.
okay.
But just think about Julia Child telling you about this. After delivery, a common way to prepare the placenta for eating is to put it inside a capsule. A capsule is like a pill. This is done by steaming and dehydrating the placenta or by processing the raw placenta. People have also been known to eat the placenta raw or cooked. Some put it in smoothies or liquid extracts.
I get to take a drink.
They go, placenta smoothie's almost done. Oh, too bad. Sad.
Delicious. Chunky.
So I don't know about Kat when you're talking about eating animal products, but
Yeah.
The Mayo Clinic points out that all the preparations that I just mentioned to you may not destroy all the infectious bacteria and viruses that may be in the placenta.
Okay.
And there's no standardized safe way to prepare it for eating. In spite of that, though, and in spite of the, anecdotal health benefits of it, there's no evidence, there's no actual scientific evidence that it can prevent postpartum depression, ease bleeding, improve milk supply, or any of the things that some people believe. In spite of that, though, studies have shown that 3% of women in the U.S. that have hospital births consume the placenta, whereas those with non-hospital births, so folks delivering at home, for example, or in the middle of a forest, I don't know, 30% of those women consume the placenta.
Right. Got to be much higher. Oh,
Really?
wow.
Why would you say it's got to be much higher?
Because I feel anyone who's choosing to have a birth at home or in the woods or whatever, I guess if they couldn't control for it or could control for that, is probably wanting a more natural experience, wanting to do something that is steeped in lore of
So you're thinking the whole hippie homeopathic thing.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, I see.
They are going to want to do the more kind of old school traditional thing, which I'm guessing this used to be
Involve
part
that.
of that.
My guess was because there wasn't a doctor there to advise otherwise.
Hey guys, I'm here finally. Did you? Oh, you had the baby already? Don't eat that! Don't eat that! I know it looks like Jell-O. It's not Jell-O. I'm wondering though. Seriously. So we were talking about Bigfoot earlier, and about how there's not either people are looking for evidence or there isn't evidence after a sighting. And we were talking about just now about how animals eat, placentas and John said their poop and that sort of thing. I always think I've had a dog. I've had many dogs. That some of that stuff they do, I would think, especially in the wild, is to leave no trace. Like we're talking about with Girl Scouts, etc. That might be my thought. Like I don't want anybody to know there's an animal here. I don't want just like we don't.
Are you implying Girl Scouts eat their own poop?
That's it, John. Thank you for having me say it directly. I wasn't brave enough. And their placentas. As soon as they're born, the mom feeds the placenta to the baby. Yeah. You're going to be a Girl Scout one day. Eat that. Trust me. Get it down. First meal. No, so I don't know why animals eat placenta. I was never even. I love how both of you guys were like, yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we know about that.
I've heard it.
I've never
yes,
heard that.
Yeah.
But I would think it's. I don't know that there. If the health benefits aren't there, and we know health benefits, I don't think exist for eating poop.
Right.
It would probably be something else, and that's what my thought always was: is they don't want other animals to know there is possible prey around. You know. Especially if they live in those areas.
And, and animals, it's not a conscious decision that an animal makes at that point. Through genetics, the animals that tend to leave less of a trail tend to survive to procreate.
Yeah.
Just coincidental, your habits end up being the survival of the fittest because that worked out best for the last generation.
Yeah, and placenta probably would be a signal. There's a very vulnerable animal here, and their child.
There's young around even.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really, good
I don't
thought.
know.
Baby big feet.
But oh, that'd be so cute.
I know.
Like an Ewok.
Yum, yum.
Brandon says fried placenta taking the place of fried spam. Yeah.
Those are Jawas.
7-foot Jawa. And Marcus says, Marcus.
I don't know what Ewoks sound like. I'm making it up. I don't know.
They go yub nub. Yub nub.
Okay.
So Marcus thinks he found Brandon's video game. Was it Pig Out? Huh. Now I've heard of that game before, but I didn't know it involved flatulence.
Again, must be at a higher level. You just maybe didn't make it there.
You got to get to the higher level to start farting on things. Just like in life, right, Kat? You got to hold it all in until you get to that level where I am so high up in this society.
Now that we're married,
Yeah.
just take it in. Take it in. Bonus points if you can tell what I had for lunch.
Oh. Was it placenta? Because I'm.
Oh no!
You nailed it. Yes,
I knew
exactly.
It. I was getting tones of like
You got
nutrients and waste.
You got it.
Oh boy. All right. Well, hey, Kat, that was it. That's the show. I mean, I think we have to end by law.
Yes.
What do you do next?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Quick, before we think of something else
No, we've
disgusting
reached the
to talk
top because
about,
there's a lot of flatulence happening.
and that lovely bouquet is brought to you.
Oh,
thanks in part
no.
to our early adopters, Karen Flieger and Rick
Karen.
Parker.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm sorry if in post-production I add some fart sounds in, guys. It's not a reflection on our wonderful patrons.
Thank you, especially to our secret of our success level Patreon supporters, Matt Marino, Vincent Ferrari, John Anderson, Brandon Greer, and Marcus Taylor.
You've reached it, the peak, the epitome. You know, I think this is true. I know I said this to John recently, and I shared our latest episode on my personal Facebook page, and I made this comment. I think our show is simultaneously somehow like the smartest show about the 1980s and also the most juvenile. Yeah. I don't know how that works out, but
It's a wonderful blending.
Smoothie, if you will, of
Yes.
ingredients.
yes, of nutrients and waste. It's a placenta smoothie.
It is.
It's full circle.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I got to get those ads
it's
going
the
again.
placenta of podcasts.
Look, there's no segue. There's no proper segue to say thanks. So I'm just going to say thank you because I'm really grateful. I'll save myself from making some embarrassing reference here. Hey guys, thank you so much for supporting our show week after week. We are eternally grateful to all of you. If you can help, like these folks do, please do so. Go to patreon.com/1980s now.
Thank you.
You can do lots of things too that don't cost a nickel. Just share our show. Tell folks about our lives. Subscribe on YouTube. Any of those things that feed the monster that is the algorithm. And this is a free thing too. All right, Kat, you got a free thing that someone wrote and sent in?
I have two free things.
All right.
One, we heard from Bill Kimler recently, who said, yes, hi, Bill. He says, I'm a little behind in my listening, but I just heard your episode about He-Man from earlier this month. I guess that was actually the month before. I cannot remember laughing so hard. That was the funniest asterisk ever. And then he says, kudos to the three of you.
There you go.
Well, we
done,
talked
Ken.
about the trailer, right?
We're talking about the trailer. And we're making up the names of characters.
Oh, right. All the
It was
ors.
or
Right,
everything
all the ors,
or
right.
yes. I do believe it was that one.
Yeah.
And then just today I heard from Keith Sheehan,
Thank you.
who listened to our most recent episode and says, in quotes, "The Last Star Spider,"
Yes.
based on something Will said, featuring music by David Bowie.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
because the Spiders from Mars were the English, was the backing band for David Bowie back in the 70s.
Ah, got it.
Very clever.
Yes.
Very, very clever.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks, guys. Thanks for writing in.
Hey, yeah, that's a free way you can certainly, at the very least, lift our spirits. But
Yep.
that seriously, that goes a long way. All right. Hey, we will chat again with you next time on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Missed it by that much.